Thank you everybody for joining us today for another episode of your Three Myositis Musketeers. I'm Jessica Taylor. You're joined here also with Jason Hopoff, Benita Moyers, Taryn Smith from Priovant, and we are here to do a special interview with Taryn, and we can't wait to get started, and we're so excited you're here and joining us today. For those that don't know, we're getting ready to do our Myositis Moonwalk at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama on May 3rd. We were going to have our Voice of the Patient workshop on May 2nd, and Taryn is going to be joining us there, and Priovant is one of our amazing sponsors that is making this event possible so that our myositis community can join us free of charge and come out and enjoy a spectacular event. So Taryn, on behalf of MSU, we are so appreciative of your love and support for our myositis community, and thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I literally cannot wait to be in person with everyone. So we're honored to support the Moonwalk.
Well, fabulous. So today it's all about Priovant. We want to hear all about the wonderful work that you guys do for the myositis community. So with that, I'm going to get this interview started with our first question, which is for you to tell us a little bit about your company and its work in the myositis community.
Happy to. So I work for Priovant Therapeutics. We are a biotechnology company that exists to research new treatment options for folks living with rare autoimmune conditions. Our flagship study is called the VALOR study. It's a global clinical trial testing a new potential treatment for dermatomyositis.
Taryn, thank you for joining us today. Do you mind, can you share just any previous experiences or initiatives that your organization has engaged in to support the myositis community?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, in terms of in person events and online opportunities, Priovant tries to meet dermatomyositis patients everywhere that they are. So, our latest effort is the online resource dermatomyositis.com. That is a website that offers the human experience of what it is to live with the rare disease. So if you have just heard the diagnosis for the first time, if you are old hat but you still have questions about the diagnosis, it's a great place to go hear from other people who are walking a similar path, as well as physician experts who can tell you more about the science behind the disease and treatment options.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful website. I've checked it out recently. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason. He's got a question for you.
I do. First, I'd like to say thank you for being here. I know how much you and your company do for the myositis community, and we love you guys for it. What I want to know is what motivates your organization to get involved with events like the Moonwalk?
Well, it's a pretty easy answer, Jason, and it's people who live with myositis. So as part of the Valor study, I had the privilege of meeting one-on-one with so many people who live with not only dermatomyositis, but other types of myositis too. And one thing that came up over and over again was people feeling very alone. And that's I think, a pretty common theme for anybody living with a rare condition. But there comes a point when you realize it's a broader issue. And so the Myositis Moonwalk is a fantastic example of how MSU steps into that right there. You keep people from feeling alone and isolated, and we believe that science and treatment is important, but the human experience is also important. And so for us, it's a no-brainer to be a part of an event like this, where people can get a little morale boost from being with other people who get it.
What a beautiful answer. And I love that. And I love that you embrace I love that you embrace our community and that effort of us not being alone in this disease, and that you're joining that fight with us as a partnership, which I love. So how do you envision um, that partnership with us contributing to the awareness and support of the myositis community?
Well, so that's a great question. The Moonwalk, of course, is an in-person event where Anybody who's been touched by any form of myositis, whether it's their own condition or the condition of somebody that they love, you get to be together. But that is a finite moment in time. MSU does a wonderful job of preserving these moments for people whose health or other situations won't let them be there in person. But then you guys go way beyond that to all these online resources and opportunities and support groups. And so obviously we want to provide funding for that type of work because it is work, and it costs money to put on things like that. But also we want your hub to be a font of information. And so that's part of why Priovant has partnered with the Moonwalk as dermatomyositis.com, because that is another online resource for folks who just want to dig a little deeper into their condition. So that's kind of how I see us contributing to awareness and support. You know, I've talked to a lot of people who have said, and this is no exaggeration, like even the person checking me in at my doctor's appointment didn't know how to spell my condition. And like that just makes things harder. And so the more people who know how to pronounce the word dermatomyositis, the better off the whole community is. And that's just one form of myositis. I mean, we know there are several types. So we got to keep talking about it. We got to keep getting it out there in the public consciousness. And that takes time and money and rubbing shoulders together. And we're in it for the long haul.
Absolutely. I love that. You know, one of the reasons I founded the Moonwalk was because the lack of awareness in the Southeast region, and how important it is to get that awareness out there. And your efforts, and your company's efforts are helping us tremendously with that goal. Are there any specific aspects of our event that just really align perfectly well with your organization's goals or values? We've already kind of talked about that a little bit, but can you kind of expand on that and how it kind of aligns together?
Definitely. So one of my absolute favorite aspects of MSU is that it is a patient volunteer-led organization. And we at Priovant, and I think lots of medical researchers, frankly, believe that the patient is truly the expert in the disease. And so we need experts to lead the way on not only like what do we need a treatment to look like and act like in your daily life, but what outcomes do you want to see from your treatment? Like, how does the science change your human experience? And so the point of doing all of these things, the MSU, the Moonwalk, biomedical research, is to improve human life. And so that is the crux of why we support MSU and the Moonwalk.
I love that answer. That's amazing. That's why we love that you and your company are here to support us and as a community. I mean, it's amazing. I do want to know though, would your organization be interested in providing educational resources or materials to help our participants understand more about myositis?
Definitely. Definitely. And we think that dermatomyositis.com is a good step in that direction. But yes, we're partners in this with you. Education is key to moving all sorts of things forward. So yes, we are committed to continuing to provide the resources that people need.
And I will say you do a job well done with that. You guys did a fantastic travel webinar that you helped facilitate for us to help us as patients to be able to still get out there and to travel, that it's still possible, that things are doable. So, that's just another example that I can draw on of another resource you provided to help our community. So thank you. I would say my last question would be, do you have any suggestions on how we could collaborate to enhance the impact of the Myositis Moonwalk in the future?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this question, and I think, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in both myositis and the world that we live in, so myositis being a rare condition that very often affects not only mobility, but also means that a lot of people take medications that compromise their immune system and mean that they have to be very careful when they use like public transit, airplanes, trains, things like that. All that to say, that's a long-winded way of saying that a lot of our community gets their information digitally. And so we would love to continue collaborating on ways to share the human experience and the encouragement that comes from being with peers through digital platforms. Yes, the in-person aspect is so, so important. But those are discrete periods of time in what can otherwise feel like a really long month or a really long year for somebody who, for a lot of reasons, has to kind of stay in their little bubble. So we would like to continue to collaborate on digital expansion so that whether you're stuck in bed, it's the middle of the night, you're worried about something, you have resources that you can trust that are easy to access from your phone or your tablet.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Beautiful.
Well, I guess it's my last question, right? How can we help share your organization's commitment and contributions to the myositis community with our event attendees and the broader network? Of course, that's one reason we're doing this interview today, but what other ways can we help you out in sharing your message?
Well, the biggest way, Benita, is for everybody to sign up for and take a look at dermatomyositis.com, particularly if you love someone or know someone who has been told they have dermatomyositis. Share the videos through social media. Even if it's with your entire network and 98% of those people don't have dermatomyositis, it still helps to get the word out there on what the condition is and what people who live with it face. So yeah, what is it that all the podcasters say? Like, tag, subscribe, please do all those things to help us spread the word.
And I will give a little special shout out. We've posted about it. I know I personally posted about it as well. But if you haven't checked out dermatomyositis.com, you definitely need to, because Jerry, our founder and chief heart officer, he did an interview with you guys, and it is moving, it is touching, it is beautiful. And if you've never gotten to experience Jerry, if you've never gotten to hear his story or seen how MSU came to be, like where this all blossomed out of, definitely you need to go and watch that. And like you said, share, subscribe, like, put that message out there, because you are telling our stories. You're giving us a voice in a world where we oftentimes don't get one. So I just wanted to add on that little caveat. Go and check it out if you haven't already. Jason, your last question.
My last question, and you stole my thunder. I was going to mention about Jerry too, but I will tell you, that's one reason why I'm excited about the Moonwalk is for the last 8 years of working with Jerry and MSU. This is the first time I actually get to meet him in person. So I think we're all just really excited. But my last question for you is, are there ways in which we as MSU can support your company's efforts or participate in reciprocal, initiatives related to myositis?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is for people who are interested and eligible to participate in clinical research. And to that end, this community has already done such a fantastic job of stepping up for the Valor study. Just want to reiterate, that's a phase 3 clinical trial. The data from it is expected later this year. So we expect that to be really exciting to share with the community. All data tells us something about the condition and potential ways to treat it. And so be looking for that at the end of this calendar year. We're in 2025. Beyond that, just really helping to connect people to resources so that they know in their core that they're not alone. And so that is the intent of dermatomyositis.com. I still would encourage people to check that out. Social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, definitely the website itself, dermatomyositis.com. And we just can't wait to hear feedback there. You do have the opportunity on the website to send direct feedback. Benita was fabulous in suggesting content around a specific subtype of dermatomyositis, which we are actively working on. And I think that's a really good picture of what good science, human interaction looks like. Know that as people living with a condition, when you provide feedback back to us, that gets talked about in rooms where change can happen. And so we've already taken Benita's suggestion and we're making steps towards making that happen. So we love to hear from you, and you can reach us through that website.
You gave me goosebumps. I'm so excited. And I'm going to throw a little thing out at you that was not on the questions, but you actually have some people coming with you that are going to help do some recording and some photos and things at the Moonwalk. So I really encourage any of our patients that are going to be attending the Moonwalk to, track down Taryn and her team and, share some of your information and stories with her. Maybe, schedule a time to maybe, give an interview if you have dermatomyositis or anything like that, because our stories do matter. They're really, really important. Most of y'all know I was an advocate for a long, long time in the education realm, and all the training that I went to, it was always start from the heart with your story. That's what's going to make the impact, that's going to make a change. And the statistics and things are out there, but you've got to get to the heart of it. And that's the whole purpose of this community event, is getting to the heart of our community and spending some time together, bringing some joy and some light into our lives, and spreading awareness. And so I personally just want to thank you so much, Taryn, for helping me to continue this dream of mine for the Moonwalk. It just literally started last year as 15 or 20 people. And I just never dreamt when I started this last year that we would have over 135 registered to attend this year for 2025. And who knows what we can do together, partnerships for next year. So I just want to thank you so much for all of that.
Well, my pleasure. And you're very similar to Jerry in the fact that you let your light shine in your corner, and look at how it has exploded and caught on with so many other people. That's how positive change happens. It's our honor to support that. And you are correct in that I will have a fabulous videographer team with us. I constantly get compliments on how nice they are. So I promise we'll be super approachable. If you have dermatomyositis and you are interested in sharing your story on dermatomyositis.com, I would love to talk to you. If you come talk to me at the Moonwalk, or even if you email me, Benita can connect you to me. And after talking, you decide, I don't think I will share my story. Totally fine. I just want people who are interested in encouraging others to reach out, and we will be on the ground at the Moonwalk, recording people's stories on Saturday after the festivities, and Sunday morning. We'll stick around for anybody who needs a bit of a rest after the walk and wants to meet up in the morning. So very excited to see everyone. And thank you again.
Thank
We're
you.
very, very excited. And one of the things that really popped out of me from this interview is, and we've talked about it a lot, is that our stories matter.
Yeah.
And that really ties into what the theme this year for Awareness Month for MSU is going to be, which is my Myo story matters, and to be the hero of your own story. And you are the hero of your own story when you tell your story, when you have the courage to do those interviews, when you have the courage to speak out, when you have the courage to say, I want to do this crazy idea of starting a walk.
Yeah.
At the Space and Rocket Center. I wonder who show up, and it turns into something monumental. So being a hero of your story can look like so many different things. And I think that that's an important thing. And so I just wanted to thank you guys. I'm so happy to be part of this amazing event, of this amazing team. I love my 3 Myositis Musketeers. And Taryn, we're so grateful for Priovant and for all the work that you do in helping tell our stories, and helping our myositis community. And we look forward to seeing you in person and doing a live in-person little interview at the Moonwalk. So with that, anybody have any last things that they would like to say before we sign this off?
Thank you
Just
again.
days till launch.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, the countdown is on. We will see you guys at the launch and at the kickoff.